Hello, friends. Okay, so I know that this can be a little bit of a sticky topic, this song, Reckless Love. I've got further points to go than just to argue the theology of this song, but this was a springboard for me today. So a long time ago, I used to love this song. I would defend it because it made me feel warm and cozy, and it was, and there are a lot of truthful facts in there. The scripture really does state that God will leave the 99 to find the one. That's real. That's true. This is more than just my opinion. When I began, over time, I began to understand that the theology is off. That you really can't just put some fluffy words together and put a little scripture in there and then that all of a sudden makes it truth. It's just not. And that's not just based on my opinion. It's based on some other really smart people who know more and I learned from. And I'm actually going to put a link for Mike Winger in both the description on YouTube and the body on Patreon so that you have a link to this well, it's another YouTube video where he breaks down the theology of that song and then also the belief system of the guy who wrote it. And so anyways, so you'll have that information there if you want to go ahead and dig into that. But why I say this is my springboard for today, y'all, there's a position that I'm in where I'm emotionally exhausted. My spiritual world is not suffering. I know God to be God. I know who He is. I know that He is doing some really amazing things. But emotionally, and then of course that sort of translates into physically, I'm exhausted down to my bones. And I had a playlist going during workout this morning, and one of the songs that came up was Reckless Love. I've tried to take it off my playlist, but it sort of sneaks up where I had added it over time through different artists. And it hit me like, stop, don't listen to this, because there is nothing, if you really look at the pattern of God, there is nothing that is reckless about His love. It's actually very strategic, and I'm arguing the theology on a very basic level. It's very strategic. Everything that He does has plan and purpose for His perfect pleasure. And so we can't get into a position where we're looking for fluffy feel-goods in the name of proper theology and proper understanding. If we look at God, His wrath is His mercy. And in that great mercy, we see His grace and His comfort. But if all we do is put God in this bracket of love, 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 all grace, 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 no hard love, then we remove God from the factor and we just put our wishes into position. And so I'm gonna move this into a little bit of the holistic nutritional conversation right now, but there is a purpose in what I'm saying. I'm gonna tie it together at the end. Lately, I've had some, and not just lately, over the course of me teaching nutrition and health, I've had people, very well-meaning, loving people, and that I take no offense from these words coming to me. I really don't. But I want to argue my stance on this. But I have people say to me that my way of eating and teaching is extreme. And I guess I look at it like this, that while it may be a very regimented, and regimented is not a bad word, regulated, not a bad word. It's just a factual statement about what it is. While I live a very regimented world, in a very regimented world, I am not living in a reckless world. I am living in a world that has strategy and intention. It has consistency. It has perseverance. It has endurance. All of these things, practicing the nature and character of our God in my food life. And I'm also a person who lives very free. You see, my time 5 years ago had so much to do where I was learning how to process through my emotions and use that, or do that in a healthy state, in a healthy world. It was hard. It was rigorous. And now, living on this side of it, going through something that is quite traumatic to my emotional life, then I've learned how to live in discipline. And even though this time is very hard, there are certain things that are no longer a mystery to me. that are not hard to me. I know how to get up. I know how to move. And that is because of God's grace, God's character, God's perseverance that he poured out through me and gave me this because he knew what was coming. Jeremiah 29 talks about for I know the plans I have made for you, not to harm you, but to give you purpose. And we sort of focus on that one verse, but in that verse, or in that entire chapter, this is God talking to the people and saying, this exile that you're going to be in, it's going to last for some time. It's not going to go away overnight. So what you need to do is you need to plant your crops, build your homes. You need to live well in the midst of this time. This is where you're going to be. So what I say, and where I'm bouncing around from reckless love and extreme eating, all these things, the reason why I'm tying this together is we have to know who God is. We have to understand his pattern and his truth in order for us to be able to have confidence in this life. At the same time, God gives us the ability to persevere and endure through things as simple as our food and exercise. Be a little extreme. Don't be reckless, though. What this world has offered is reckless. I would rather be in the extreme bracket than the reckless. I have a sweet friend who sent me a message yesterday, and I didn't read it until this morning, and it matters so much right now. She said, I see you in a pool that has no sides. But I also see God saying to you, stop flailing. Stop trying to figure out how to swim. Flip over and float. And that's the message I want to send to you. Flailing is reckless. Having no plan, not believing that God has wrath and love all mixed into his perfection, that he is not reckless. He is perfect in all of his plans. That right there, believing these things, is flipping over and floating, letting him have it. God is so good. Our definition of good is doing whatever we want, feeling good in the moment, our kids being on this perfect plane of never making mistakes, our marriages being perfect, our bodies being totally skinny and always healthy. That's not good. That's actually reckless, because that's not the way this world works. That's not the way these bodies work. But move into God and he's perfect. All right. I love you guys. I love being able to speak into you the message that God has given me. Go back, read Jeremiah 29, and listen to that song, God is so good. I'll also post that in the comments. God bless y'all. Bye.